October 23rd, 2014. From Las Vegas, Nevada, this is episode 58 of You Can Bet On That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet On That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting next to me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
So we have just returned from a trip to Vegas for VIMFP.
Yeah.
So that's what this show is going to be about, basically a recap of everything that happened. But anybody who follows us on social media already knows that during this trip, we hit all 6 numbers on the fire bet.
We are not joking.
This is not an April Fool's joke.
Yeah, we're not teasing anybody. We actually did it ahead of our scheduled time.
That's right.
Which was like in 2016.
Something like that we talked about on a previous episode. Yeah.
So we might hit it again before our actual time.
That's right. Yeah.
We're on a roll.
We really are. So we're going to go into the details of that because some of the specifics are pretty amazing.
It's fascinating,
some of the coincidences and what have you. But we want to go chronologically through the trip so that you kind of get a sense of what led up to it. It really happened that last day, the last few hours that we were there.
Right. It was our saving grace, really.
That's right. Yeah, we were losing up to that point. But anyway, so yeah, we went there for VIMFP and we left on a Thursday night after work and we flew. And we decided that we needed to rent a car for this trip because we had rooms on the Strip. We had rooms downtown.
Rooms. Not a room.
Rooms.
We had several rooms.
We had friends that just coincidentally were staying on the Strip the same weekend.
Right.
Also, your family came.
My mom and dad and brother and one of my brother's friends.
They were staying on the Strip. So we needed a car. But it's either that or pay, a ton of money
in cabs.
Going back and forth. So we decided we'd rent a car. Now, obviously, it's been a while since we've rented a car because the whole experience was a surprise to us.
Well, we usually either drive or we fly and we just take a cab to like Caesars and then we just stay in that area and walk.
Exactly. And
so this was one of those times where we were going to move around a lot, so we figured, well, we'll get a car.
Right.
I don't know if that was a good or a bad idea.
Well, ultimately, I think it was a good idea, but it didn't seem like it when we landed because we went out to the, where they pick you up in the shuttles. And the last time we had done this, every car rental company had their own shuttle.
Right. They take you to their place.
Right. So we had rented with Hertz, so we were expecting to see a Hertz shuttle. We did not know that since we had rented a car 15 or so some years ago, that all the rental car locations had been consolidated into a rental car
building
hub, basically about 5 or 10 minutes from the airport.
7-minute drive.
That's right. They said
they actually said it'll be a 7-minute drive
from Terminal 1. Yeah. So we didn't expect that. So we kind of figured it out once we saw there was only one line for a single rental car shuttle, big shuttles. And that line was long.
It was long. And the lady kept moving us like, oh, stand here. And then, oh, go over there. And then, oh, go over there. We kept inching further.
Yeah. And she wasn't messing up. I think it was actually well organized.
Yeah. She had a system.
But we didn't know what it was. She just kept moving us. But here it was a Thursday night when our plane landed like 10, right?
Right. And we looked at each other. Oh, this will be quick because it's Thursday night.
Yeah.
It's 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Who's getting in Thursday night? It was packed.
Yeah. It took us a while just to get on the shuttle. So we get on the shuttle. We're driving, it's 5 minutes is gone. We're still on the road. It's like, okay, yeah, this is obviously a different location than we're used to. So they finally drop us off at the rental car hub. And we get out, and Hertz had like the biggest line for whatever reason.
Yep.
There were like 5 people in front of us, and there were three
at the counter. There were three people at the counter, right? Working.
And they have those machines, where you can like call a remote representative to help you. Those were all down,
but they all said, "Please, to use this." Right?
Yeah.
They all had advertisement. Come over and use this, and then none of them were working.
Yeah, none of them were working. So anyway, we finally rented the car. The woman was very nice who helped us. She asked if we wanted to upgrade to a bigger car because we had gotten an economy.
Right.
And I said, no, I don't want to spend the extra. It was like $20 more.
Yeah, it was $20 more, but we thought, we're just going to go and drive quick. What do we need a nice car?
Yeah.
We should have upgraded. Oh my God.
We got a Ford Fiesta and we're 2 pretty big guys.
Yeah. And it's made for small people or dwarfs or children under 4.
So we were in there pretty tight. I mean, we got around, but it was an issue kind of getting in and out of the car. So finally, we've got the car. We drove down to the Golden Nugget. We looked at our watches. From the time we touched down at the airport to the time we had our bags in the room, it was 2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And we're usually planning on a half hour, and we'll be at the table.
Yeah,
we'll be at the craps table within a half hour.
Oh my gosh. Well, anyway, so finally we're in the casino. So we were staying at Golden Nugget. We immediately went downstairs to play some craps down there, and we were pleased to see that they had that small, tall, all bet that we talked about in episode 56.
Right.
All tall, all small, all or nothing at all is sometimes what they're called. They're those 3 bets.
The futures bet, the bonus bet. Yeah, they called it all kinds of different
things. But we had not played at a casino that had that for a while. And again, it's one of those side bets with a pretty high house edge. But, it was something different that we could play.
It turns out I didn't like it as much as the fire bet.
Yeah.
See, what happens is you can have the 2 and the 4 and the 5 and the 6, and you need a 3.
For the all small.
For the all small, let's say. Mm-hmm. And the point's 8. And the guy makes his point 8, and then he comes out with a 7 on the come out. So all your bets everywhere else on the table are still alive, but you have to start over on that all small.
That's right. Those are always working. They're never off
on the come out.
Right.
So, then you start all over, and it's like, oh, I was so close to hitting that. Whereas you make a fire bet, it stays there until there's a final 7 out.
Yeah, 7 on the come out doesn't hurt the fire bet.
Doesn't hurt the fire bet. Yeah. Plus, the other thing I liked is the fire bet is, we play at Rincon, it's $5. Some places in Vegas, it's $10. And it's a one-time you put your $5 or your $10 out, it sits there the whole roll.
Yeah.
I was putting $15, 5 all small, 5 all tall, and 5 all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes there'd be 4 7s during the roll on comeouts, and you'd have to keep replacing it.
Yeah.
That's $60.
Well, you didn't have to bet that much.
No, I didn't have to. You could bet $1.
Yeah.
But I'm saying for me, it seemed like I was putting more money out on goofy bets.
Yeah, ultimately.
And that's not what I need. Okay.
That's right. Ultimately, you lost money on that. You did hit the small and the tall a few times. You never hit the all. You
never
were
hit
like
the all.
one number away.
It's quite a few
but
times.
But it was always like a 12 or a 2 that you needed, right?
One time it was a 3, and one time it was an 11, I think.
Yeah. But one thing that we did find out about it, we didn't realize that as soon as you win the small or the tall, they pay you right away.
Right.
They don't wait for that 7 to come out, which I guess makes sense. We just never really thought about it.
Right.
Another thing.
They just clear that side. I wonder if they started again.
No, they can't because they have to have it out there for the all.
Yeah, right.
So they couldn't, like if the small wins, they don't start the small over again, right? Because then how would they keep track of the all?
One time, I just remembered there was one time where we needed a 10.
We never hit the all. Well, I never bet it, so
you didn't.
There's no issue for me. But one other thing that we did find out too is that you can bet at any time as long as nobody else has any money on it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be like at the beginning of a new roll.
Yeah, you can walk. It's funny. I just happened onto that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize the person had already come out.
Oh, okay.
And so I threw $15 out there. I walked up to the table.
Uh-huh.
I threw $15 out, and I thought, and then I realized, he's already coming out. And the dealer said, oh, no, it's fine. Nobody's bet on it yet.
Yeah. So
I'm like, okay. Yeah. So there had already been numbers rolled. They just hadn't moved the button up.
Right.
So then he started moving them up when I bet it.
Yeah, it's just activated when somebody bets it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that was interesting. Anyway, we played, another thing too, we were asking about, I thought this was strange, but we were asking about the VIG on lay bets. And remember we got that phone call from Ron. He was saying that in Vegas at the MGM properties that they don't collect the VIG on the lay bets up front. It's only when you win. So we asked at Golden Nugget, hey, when do you have to pay the VIG on lay bets? They said that for the 4 and 10, you only have to pay when they win. But for all the rest of the numbers, you have to pay the VIG up front.
Kind of like...
just like the buy bets.
Just like the buy bets.
Now, it's... Why?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
But anyway, that's what they said, so that was it. So we played for craps for a little while, and Did we lose? I think we lost a little
Just
bit.
very little.
It wasn't much.
No, it was very little.
And I was so exhausted because, of course, the night before a Vegas trip, I never sleep very well. So I'm already tired. It's like past midnight.
Boy, I sleep like a baby.
Do you?
Yeah, I go to sleep and I just dream about, I'm going to have so much fun in Vegas.
Oh.
How can you not sleep?
Yeah. That's interesting. I'm glad that you told that story that I don't believe. So I was going to go to bed, but then our listener Taylor, who we had met on our previous trip, found us in the casino. And then we also met up with Barry, who runs the Facebook craps page. And Taylor was saying, hey, let's go over to downtown Grand. And so I'm like, I want to go to bed. But, you were
trying to wimp out of that.
But I'm thinking.
We talked him into it.
Yeah. I was like, how can I say? No, here we got 2 listeners who have found us. Of course. So I'm thinking, of course, I can't go to bed, right?
No, it's like 11 o'clock, too.
That's right. So we went, no, it was later than that.
It was like midnight.
Yeah. So anyway, we went over to downtown Grand. So it's the first time we've been to the downtown Grand. So we, signed up for the Players Club and everything. And as we were getting our Players Club cards, Taylor and Barry were buying in, and I looked down at the Feld and I said, hey, Taylor, they've got the fire bet. You said that there were no fire bets downtown. And Taylor looked, it's like, well, there weren't. And it turns out, what did they say? It'd been
there like a few days.
Or 3 weeks or something. It was
like a week or something. Yeah. No, it wasn't even 3 weeks. It was just very recent.
Yeah. So they had the fire bet, and it was nice because it was the fire bet payout where they'll pay on at least 3 numbers, 3 unique numbers, you get a payout.
Yeah. Well, before Sunday, I would have said I like that better because you're going to win on those 3s.
Yeah, right.
And you're not going to win on the, you don't hit the 6 as much.
Yeah.
But now that we've hit the 6, I like the 6.
Yeah, I like the 6 better. But I was thinking about this, and I don't know why this didn't occur to me before, Mike. So when you're at a fire bet table where they pay on 3 numbers, at least 3 numbers, 3 numbers is 7 for 1, 4 numbers is 30 for 1. 5 numbers is 150 for 1, and 6 numbers is 300 for 1. Now, as opposed to 1,000 for one, which most fire bets are. So that's a significant difference. If you hit all 6 numbers, 300 for 1 at this table at Downtown Grand, and 1,000 for 1 at most others. It never occurred to me before, but you know why it's 300 for 1? That's the same as 299 to 1.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And when you make a wager that pays off less than 300 to 1.
Right.
They don't have to report the taxes when you hit it.
So there's no taxes that come out of this.
So for this fire bet structure, you never have to fill out.
Well, my $10 is only going to win 3,000. I'd rather my $10 win 10,000 and pay some taxes.
All right, that's fine, but that's why they do it this way, right? And the house edge is about the same on 2 pay tables. What was the max
amount you could bet on the fire there? Did you ask?
Gosh, I don't think we asked at all.
I remember putting 10 and they just took it, and I don't even think I asked. It might be a quarter.
That's a good question.
Because some places, I know we've been at places where 3 numbers, they win on 3, and they let you go up to $25.
You might be right. Yeah, we should have asked. But anyway, well, this turned out to be a good move going to Downtown Grand because I got on a great roll. Yeah. I think I was the one rolling, right?
It was me.
Okay.
Remember, I rolled all those 4s for you?
Oh, that's right. Yes,
it was me.
Yes. Here, I'm taking
You didn't have all the good rolls. As a matter of fact, you only had one really good roll at the end of the trip. I had great rolls the rest of the trip.
You're right. I forgot. Okay. Well, Mike had a great roll, won money for everybody. Right. I had my 4, which I started $25 buy bet on the 4. I had it pressed up to $800 before you 7'd out.
Yeah.
So I made a lot of money on that.
I didn't have a 4 ever.
No.
But I rolled a ton of other numbers, so we were winning quite well.
So that was a nice session. We won. We even got enough credit. If you play a certain amount in the first 24 hours after you sign up for your Players Club, you get some, giveaways. Gifts. We both got a food voucher that we didn't use. We both got $30 in free play that we did use, right? We both got T-shirts.
Nice T-shirt.
I'm wearing it right now.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's nice.
And you got 2 free rooms, which you'll probably never use.
Does
it expire?
Yeah, it expires January 1st, I believe.
Well, anyway, but that was our first night. So we went to bed up, and so that was good.
Yeah, we were happy.
Yeah.
We walked back. The only thing I didn't like about the Downtown Grand is it's kind of off the path a little bit.
That's what everybody's complaining about. Yeah.
And it'd be nice if it was a little safer to get there.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
It's it's downtown. There's some people. I mean, when there's 4 guys, they're not going to, no one's going to mess with us. But I'd hate to walk that by myself.
No, I know. It's true. Yeah. So we went to bed and woke up the next morning, and we had free play coming to us at Golden Nugget.
I think we got 4 hours sleep or 3.5.
Yeah,
We got up about 7.
We got up about 7. We went to bed about 2:30, 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. Yeah, maybe got 4 hours, 4.5 hours sleep.
Yep. Well, we weren't able to get the free play the night that we checked in because everything was closed. I guess we could have because they told us we needed to go to their players club to get it.
Well, we just went to the cashier.
And we went to the players club and they said you got to go to the cashier. So okay, so we went to the cashier. We were hoping that we could get the free play in slot play
because we like to play video poker. Convert our slot play into dollars and then use it to play craps.
Yeah. But it turned out it was for table game play. So it's like, well, okay, that's fine. You had $500 coming.
Right.
And I had $75. So we got our free play. And unfortunately, the lowest denomination free play chip you could get was $25.
That sucks.
I mean, that was okay for you.
Well, I was going to bet it anyway, but I mean, if somebody gets, $50 or $75, give them nickels.
I know.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
But they said they didn't have
3 chips.
Yeah, so I had $75 coming, so it was just 3 chips.
Yeah.
So the variance for me, I mean, I could lose it all.
Right.
Right?
Sure.
If I have 3, I had to use it on a table game. Right. I could do any bet. It didn't have to be an even money bet.
And it does stay out there.
And it stayed out until it lost. Right. They didn't take it, on any decision, right? So that was good. But I could have lost the whole thing, right? Which I certainly wouldn't have if I could have.
It turned out though, we both did well with our free play.
We did. Yeah. But it's just lucky.
Won on that.
If I could have taken 75 and put it in a slot or video poker, there's no way I'm going to lose it all if I'm just playing like quarters, right?
Right. Well, you play quarters at video poker, you're probably going to get, 70, between 65 and 70 of that back.
But it worked out well for us because we went to the table we played and the first shooter that we used them on had a really good roll.
Right.
So
we converted them all to real money.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. So we played there a little bit and then I said, okay, Mike, follow me. So I had a plan. I was going to take Mike to Dupar's over at Golden Gate because everybody raves about the pancakes over there.
I went because, I wanted to make Mark happy.
Yeah.
I did not really want to go.
Yeah. And I kind of tricked him because, hey, Mike, we got to go up to Golden Gate to play Riverboat Roulette, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. So we walked up there and then I immediately went to Dupar's and said, oh, yeah, we're getting breakfast. Like, okay. Unfortunately,
it was not a good experience.
It was a bad decision. I hate to say this because I know how people rave about Dupar's, but our experience was very bad.
Yeah.
We were seated fairly quickly.
Well, very quickly, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there was only like one person in front of us, and then we were seated. So the restaurant was full, but it wasn't like there was a line of people waiting.
No, correct. It took a very long time before we got any kind of attention from our waitress.
I think we were sitting there at least 20 minutes before anyone came by to say hi.
Yeah.
Here's some water.
Yeah.
Are you ready to order?
Yep.
I mean, we literally I flagged somebody down.
Yeah.
Finally, I said, wait a minute. I got somebody and said, hey,
send our waitress over.
We're sitting and we're in the middle of the restaurant. It's not like we were in a corner.
Yeah, right. So eventually the waitress came and she was very nice and took our order.
She wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, she was fine.
She was okay.
And then we waited forever for the food to come out.
45 minutes, maybe?
Oh, God. It was terrible. And meanwhile...
For breakfast.
Yeah, for breakfast. Something, and, their specialty, right?
Right, yeah. And eggs don't take that long to cook.
and pancakes don't take very long either. Yeah, that's true. So, we're sitting there. Meanwhile, there's construction going on right outside.
Right outside the window.
Now, I can't really complain about that because that's not always going to be the case, but it just compounded our experience.
Well, the funny thing about that is there was a guy out there with a sledgehammer just banging. It looked like he was just on purpose banging the ground, just boom, 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 boom. I mean, if you had just woken up and you had a bad headache, I mean, that would have been a rough place to be.
So finally our food came and the pancakes were excellent. There's no doubt about it. They've got their reputation well deserved. But like you got like a hamburger patty, right? That
was like almost raw,
undercooked.
Yeah.
I ordered my eggs over medium, and they were runny.
Yeah, I think our order got lost.
It's
and then
possible.
She finally went to check on it,
yeah.
And then just like, oh my God, where's their order? And then they just whipped it together really quick.
Yeah. Well, the pancakes were good, although. On the 500 podcast that they recorded it at VIMFP, Michelle was saying, and Travis, one of our listeners who was there too, also said that the pancakes at Eat the restaurant called Eat downtown,
Right.
are as good as, if not better than, the Dupar pancakes.
Huh.
So, you know.
I don't know how
maybe
you
that's
judge the quality of pancakes.
Well, they need to be crispy on the outside and fluffy inside and buttery and delicious.
And delicious.
That's what you need.
Those are the things.
That's all you need.
You know, if I cover it with enough maple syrup, I could eat, a shoe. All right?
That's good. Well, you must have loved these pancakes because you put a lot of maple syrup
I put
on
all
it.
the maple syrup on it I
The
could.
whole thing. So bad. So I said, Mike, I'm paying for the meal because I was the one who forced him to go down there. So I paid for that meal. And so we were. This was at Golden Gate, and remember, there was Mike promised on a previous episode that he would play riverboat roulette. We talked about it on one of our episodes.
Yeah.
It's roulette that has some elements that are like place bets on the craps table. That's multi-spin wagers. So it's a wager that you can put out there, and it can stay out there for multiple spins.
Right.
It can push on a spin and win and, eventually
Right.
loses, but it stays out there. So we played that for a little while, and it's a kind of table you don't have to make those bets. Otherwise, it's a regular roulette table. You
Right.
can make all the regular bets. I kind of found that those bets, those neighborhood bets that they call them, were almost, I don't want to call it a distraction, but it just, it was fine. It was nice to have, but
it didn't do too much for me.
No,
I was almost more excited if I hit a number, right?
yeah, you're still looking at numbers, and then you're thinking, oh, what color is that? No, it's not just black and red.
I'll tell you the part that got me. The colors were kind of hard to define.
Yeah, there was like the pink and the purple were kind of close. Yeah.
I mean, they should have had like real definitive colors that okay, that's definitely pink, right?
Yeah.
They were so close.
Yeah.
But when the ball landed on the wheel, I'm trying to look at the wheel and like, which one is that?
Yeah, I had that trouble too.
Even when she marked it, it was kind of hard to determine.
So at least we played it. I don't think I'd ever need to play it again.
No, I'm done with riverboat roulette.
Yeah. So if we ever play roulette again, it'll just be regular roulette. Okay, so from there we headed over to the Four Queens, and the reason we wanted to play at Four Queens was because we had reservations that night for Hugo's Cellar,
which is the steak place at Four Queens.
Yeah.
Has a reputation for being the best steak in Las Vegas.
Yeah, or certainly downtown.
Certainly downtown. Right. So we had never eaten there.
Yep.
And we made reservations, so we wanted to get it comped.
Yeah, so we were hoping to get it comped.
Too cheap to pay.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't want to pay for a meal. So we played there for a little while. They have 5 times odds, so that was good.
Yeah.
At one point, though, I tried to buy the 4 and 10, and the dealer said, okay, that'll be $2. You have to pay the VIG up front on buy bets at the Four Queens.
Yeah, and you said to the dealer, you have to pay up front? Isn't it pretty standard in Vegas that you pay afterwards on the 4 and 10? He ignored you.
I think I said this is the dark ages.
Yeah, and then you said, yeah, this is the dark ages. And he just kept dealing. He just ignored you.
So that surprised me. I didn't think anywhere in Vegas. I thought that was, I really did think that was pretty standard.
It's funny how some of the casinos have their little thing and they just, for whatever reason, it's different.
Yeah.
And
it's strange. 5 times odds, but no, you got to pay that VIG up front. And while we were standing there playing at Four Queens, old Sammy Hagar, who was playing the concert for all the VIMFP attendees the next night, just comes walking by, walked up to Magnolia's, the coffee shop there at Four Queens, just to have lunch like a real person.
Like a real person, yeah.
You didn't see him, did you?
I didn't see him. Mark saw him. You said, look at Sammy Hagar, and
you thought it was
glanced, and it looked a little like him, and I thought, well, maybe it's just somebody that looks like him. But Mark said it really was him.
It was him. All right. So we finished up at the Four Queens. By that time, it was time for our craps meetup at the D. So we headed over there, and Barry had kind of coordinated a dedicated table for us there. So this was great. Thanks again to Barry, for getting this all coordinated. But it was great. We had a whole table to ourselves, and it filled up pretty quickly.
Yeah, it filled up right away.
Yeah. And this was the great thing. The pit boss there said, what we're going to do is we're going to put the sign on the table that says it's a $25 minimum. But that's just so no regular people will come up and start playing. Okay. In other words, people that weren't part of our group, right? You can bet $5.
Although it turns out some people who were part of the group and did want to play didn't play because they thought it was $25.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, there was one person that we didn't know who told me that.
Oh, okay.
He's like, oh, I would have played, except I saw that $25 sign and I kind of backed me off. And then my dad and brother didn't play there.
Yeah.
I said, well, wait, we'll get you in. And they just walked away and they went to another table. And my dad said, I'm not playing a $25 table. And, they didn't even look that we were not betting 25.
We were only betting $5. Oh, well, that's too bad. That kind of backfired. But the intent was certainly nice.
The intent was good.
That they did that for us. So it was so great to meet everybody at this meetup. And I know I'm going to forget some people's names, but I want to mention a few. We met Catherine and Tony and Roy and DJ and Dave. People came from all over, for VIMP, not for us necessarily,
right.
but, from all over the world.
What was the couple next to me?
Oh, yes, that's right. Tip of my tongue. I can't remember. But yeah, the couple that was right next to you, they were
from
very
Minnesota.
Nice. Okay, yes, right.
Uh-huh.
And it was fun. That reminds me now, we were talking about them because we were standing right next to them, sort of
standing next to them.
Because
they were on the, what's called it's not the hook. I was in the hook.
Just right next to the dealer.
I was in the hook and straight out. They're right next to the dealer.
Yeah.
So they're next to the dealer and then straight out the table was empty and then I was in the hook. And the reason nobody could stand straight out on that table was there was a chair from the
Let It Ride
table that somebody was sitting in, an older man, and his chair was like right up against the craps table.
These tables, they were too close to each other. It wasn't the man's fault.
No.
The craps table was too close to the Let It Ride table. So if somebody was sitting in third base, basically on Let It Ride, it was literally pressed up against the craps table.
When that old guy finally left the Let It Ride table, I turned the chair around and sat backwards in it and got in the middle so we could occupy more of the craps table. Because there was like 2, maybe 3 spots that we could have used. Weren't available.
Started to fill it in. Well, it was so funny because we started at noon, and your dad and your brother and your mom and your brother's friend came by at about 12:15.
Yeah, about 12:15.
And your dad comes riding up in his scooter. And I stepped back and I pointed to your dad and I yelled at everybody at the table, "Hey, everybody, this is Dr. Mike's dad." And everybody at the table just, woo!
Big roar.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my dad liked that.
He loved that. He got such a big kick out of that.
Yeah.
And then he immediately went to a different table.
Yeah, then he went and played craps at the other table.
There wasn't a lot of room for him there at that point anyway.
No, there wasn't. It was pretty full.
What a great meetup. We were there for about 2 hours. Unfortunately, we don't really have any interesting stories about actually playing.
No big rolls.
No big rolls.
A few decent rolls, but nothing huge.
It started out okay, and then it got pretty cold.
Yeah.
In fact, a few guys down at the other end of the table bet on the don't. I think it was Dave that was about to roll, and he said, "Oh, I'm terrible." And so he said, "You better bet on the don't." So he bet on the don't. A bunch of people did. Sure enough, he 7'd out real quickly, right? So it did go kind of cold there. So, it broke up after a couple hours. And that was okay because that was about time for the icebreaker. They had the icebreaker that was then followed by, the opening ceremony. So, we stopped playing and we were kind of schmoozing and walking around. And we went upstairs to the Vintage Vegas casino, where all the slots are still coin in, and
I do like that.
Yeah, it's kind of
We got some buckets.
Yep. Got some buckets like you were hoping for. And you played a dollar machine.
I put $20 in.
Right.
A dollar machine.
Yep.
Played it for a while, and then it was time to go. I cashed out for 19.
Right. So 19 big gold dollar tokens came out, right?
These tokens, the old time tokens.
Yep. So you picked them all up. You just held them in your hand.
Yeah.
And we went downstairs and the cashier was kind of crowded. So I said, well, come on, let's go introduce ourselves to Tim and Michelle from 500. So we went over there and they were talking with some people. And so we were waiting to introduce ourselves, and you had the coin,
I had 19 tokens.
And you kept going, oh, man, these are heavy.
Yeah.
Oh, God, heavy. These are so heavy. They just kept going on and on and on about, oh, my God, they're so heavy.
My wrist was actually starting to hurt from holding them. I mean, they're kind of heavy.
So finally we introduced ourselves to Tim and Michelle, and they were great. I mean, they were just so nice and happy to see us, and they asked how the craps meetup had gone, and it was just great. We were talking to them for a little while, and then Chuck Monster from the Vegas Gang, or previously from the Vegas Gang podcast, he had a megaphone and he was ushering everybody out to outside in front of the D. So everybody went out and he made an announcement about how, we are the Vegas Internet Mafia, right? And everybody was cheering. And then Hunter Hilligus, got a baton and started leading a parade down Fremont Street and up the stairs at the D to the, on the outside.
Right.
And
it entered into the, old time slot area where there's a bar.
So as we're doing this parade, you and I were actually towards the front.
Yeah, we were kind of in the front.
And you're still complaining about holding these tokens, right?
They were heavy.
Right. So eventually you started just handing them out to people that we were passing as part of the parade. And then that deteriorated into you just chucking them out onto Fremont Street.
Yeah, I was just throwing them on the street, trying to get rid of them.
So people are looking and hearing these tokens clanging, out on Fremont Street.
They're picking them up. And somebody said, are you going to start a bum riot or something?
Right. And we get to the top of the stairs where Hunter has stopped and you give him one and he's like, okay. He didn't know what to make of that. Right? Well, we eventually introduced ourselves to him too. So
he's like, what?
Oh my gosh. So that was a blast. We had, again, it was so nice to meet everybody at that meetup. And, I'm sorry. We met so many people. I'm terrible. I wrote down names. I was trying to, but
I'm terrible with names.
We loved meeting everybody there. It was a huge event for us. We absolutely loved it. So after that, we thought, well, let's go back to Four Queens, because we really want to try to get that free meal.
Right. Yeah, that's our
free meal, right? So we played for a little while more at Four Queens, and when we finally decided, well, let's stop now, and we asked the pit, hey, we're going to Four Queens tonight. Do you think we could get some kind of voucher?
Yeah, for Hugo's.
Right. And I think she called over a host, and the host came over and said, "Oh, absolutely. We saw you here earlier.
Yeah,
we saw you here now. You've been playing a lot. Yeah, we'll do something for you." So they ended up giving us a $250 voucher for Hugo's Cellar.
Right, which more than covered our.
Oh,
our
yeah.
meal.
I was thinking there's no way we're going to eat more than that, or even with drinks and everything.
Yeah, $125.
So, yeah. So we went and got cleaned up, and we went to Hugo's Cellar. Now, Mike, I was doing a little research.
Okay.
Back in the 90s, we stayed at Four Queens 15 times.
Okay.
15 different times, actually stayed in the hotel.
Right.
Played craps there like crazy. Never went to Hugo's Cellar.
No. We didn't have time. We did not have time.
Did we have time this time?
Yeah, we had time this time.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So...
Had we known back in the 90s that Hugo's Cellar was so efficient at getting you in and out, we probably would have eaten there.
See, this is the thing, right? Meals are often an unwanted distraction for us because we want to get back to the tables. But I will say this. Excellent meal. I had the filet. What did you have?
I had the filet as well.
Well, you did too. Okay, so we both had the filet. That was great.
Yeah. Very tender.
Yeah.
Very tender.
Very good. I love the salad that they make at your table.
Yeah, they make it right at the table.
It's a tossed
salad.
salad.
A choice of a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, the guy comes over, but asks what kind of lettuce you want. Okay, do you want onions? You just say yes or no. He goes down the whole list, right? Do you want garbanzo beans? Yes or no? Boom, boom, boom. And then tosses it right there. I love a tossed salad. I love that better than just, pouring my own
dressing on
and then having to toss it at my...
Well, and you get a bite that doesn't have some, and you get some that has too much dressing or not enough. This was perfect.
So that was excellent. And I had lobster bisque with big chunks of lobster in it. Mm-hmm. And they bring a little sorbet for you to clean your palate before you actually get your entree.
I think I had the...
Shrimp.
I had the shrimp.
You had like
shrimp cocktail.
Shrimp cocktail?
It was very good. Yeah. 3 pretty good sized shrimp, the size of a baby's arm.
Yep. And we ate our meal. I ordered a Long Island iced tea. That came very quickly.
Yeah.
And we said, then they came back, you ready from some dessert? We were absolutely stuffed.
Yeah, we were too full to eat
We
dessert.
said, no, just bring us the bill. Mike, we were in and out of there in an hour.
1 hour for a fancy
meal.
Right. And we had, appetizers, salad, and the meal, 1 hour.
Yep. 1 hour. And compare that to Dupar's.
Yeah, we waited an hour
90 minutes.
Yeah, we waited an hour just for the food.
So anyway, Hugo's Cellar, big thumbs up from us for that.
Yes.
Yeah. So that night after our meal, we told you we had more rooms and we needed to check into some of our other rooms that were down at the Strip. So we went down to SLS, very quickly just checked in. I think we checked in and then we signed up for players cards. And that was it.
And that was it.
Yep.
Right.
And then we
didn't even play our free play.
No, we didn't even do it then.
No.
Because we knew we had to get down to Caesars to check in.
Right.
To the rooms that we had, or a room that we had there.
And we were going to meet some people there.
That's right. So checked in there, played down there a little bit because we saw our friend Paul was there.
Right.
We saw him playing at the blackjack table.
Right.
Your parents and your brother and friend were there. So we said hi to them. And then we headed back to Golden Nugget and went to bed.
Yep. Right.
So that was Friday. Now, on Saturday morning, we got up and played at various casinos, and it wasn't going very well. We kind of were jumping around a little bit. But we were walking up Fremont Street, and we went by Binion's. We hadn't played there yet. Hadn't played there in years. Right?
Yeah, long time.
You were ready to quit. You basically said, I'm done for the day or something. It had been going pretty bad.
It was going bad.
But you said, let's go into Binion's, right?
Right.
So we played a little while at Binion's. That went pretty well, I think.
Yeah, I think we did win.
Yeah,
there.
we didn't play there too long.
No.
One thing that caught our eye on the table, though, was on the craps layout, there was a spot for the whirl bet. WHIRL.
Not world, WORLD, or they sometimes print a little a globe.
Yeah, right. So we've said this before. There's no definitive answer as to what it's really called, the whirl bet or the world bet.
Right.
But this is the first time we'd ever seen whirl with an H actually printed on a layout. All the other times we'd seen it on a layout, it was world.
Right.
Right.
World. And sometimes it's not even on the layout. They just place it somewhere.
Yeah. But this actually said whirl, kind of like Stewie Griffin would say it. Whirl. It's a whirl bet. Whirl bet. And the dealer was on our side of the table was saying that she had heard from an old timer that whirl with the H was indeed the correct term for the bet. And that it was based on some old horse racing wager.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe that or
I
not.
couldn't find anything.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe that or not. I think she was just trying to make conversation with you.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
But
she was cute.
But this was the first and only time we've ever seen it.
Yeah,
so I thought that was
it.
worth mentioning. Yeah.
The other thing at Binion's, remember right by the door, there was the large wheel.
Yes.
And the girl spinning it was pretty close to naked.
Yes.
I mean,
that was what they were going for.
That's what they were going for. We were commenting on, right by the door. How can you not go in there? You're two guys walking by. How can you not walk in there?
Is that what got you in? Is that
That's part
you were
of
ready to quit for the day?
Yeah.
Then you
part
saw
of what
her.
got me in. I mean, you see a girl standing there with hardly any clothes on. You're like, well, let's go in there. And the craps table was right by the door.
Yeah, she was dealing the big six wheel. We didn't even play on her table.
No, we were sitting. Well, we were like a foot away from her at the craps table.
Yeah. So it was getting close to the VIMFP main event, but we decided, hey, things weren't going too well downtown. So we said, hey, let's go to SLS. You suggested, let's go to SLS. Let's play our free play.
Right.
See how that goes. And then we'll come back downtown for the main event. Yeah,
right.
Exactly. So that's what we did. What did you think of SLS?
I liked SLS.
Yeah.
I liked the atmosphere in there.
Love the atmosphere. I love the music that was playing too.
The music was really good.
It was kind of if I had to describe it, it was like indie pop or like adult alternative, something with a beat, but not oonce kind of stuff. So yeah.
And and another thing, it was open. It was kind of an open casino.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was plenty of room.
Right. High ceilings.
I
do
kind of like
yes,
that.
I like that too. Yeah.
There were nice craps layouts.
Yeah. Very nice.
The craps pit was good. Yeah.
Yeah. So we played our free play on the machines. You had $500 coming plus an extra $5,000. 5,000?
1,000.
Oh, 1,000. That's right.
Not 500. They matched
You're right. They matched your Caesars.
They matched whatever Caesars was going to give me, which was $1,000 free play.
That's right.
So they matched it and they gave me $1,000.
Yeah. And I had $5.
And you had $5.
So I played mine. You played yours and
I think I cashed out out of 1,900 and
sounds right.
Something.
So you converted, it was 900 something. You converted 1,000 in free play
to like 980 of real money.
Yeah,
something like that.
But tell them what happened on your machine. At one point, it ran out of
so
paper.
It was towards the end of me playing my free play, and the machine ran out of paper. So this notice comes up: out of paper, call attendant.
Right. So he'd actually gotten his last slip.
Right.
Out. It had come out, but then a message came up, said out of paper, and it wouldn't let him play anymore. Yeah.
Right. And I just had I had $76 is what it was left to play. And so the attendant came over and she's changing the paper and she says to me, "Did you have any cents on there?"
So like cents above an even dollar amount.
Right. Above, like, maybe I had $76.28.
Okay.
Because she didn't know what I was playing, right?
Right.
I could have been playing quarters or something, right?
Sure.
So anyway, I said, no, I think I had $76 total. Because she immediately,
Yeah.
when she put her key in and opened it, it zeroed out.
Okay. Right.
And I instituted the talk because I'm like, am I going to get my money back? Because it immediately went to zero.
Sure, yeah.
And she said, oh no, when I reset it, it'll go back to the amount that was on there. And she said, that's when she said, did you have any cents?
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, no, even amount. And I said, why? Why do you ask? And she said, well, because when it resets, it goes to the closest whole dollar amount.
It rounds down.
It rounds down to the closest whole dollar amount.
Uh-huh.
So in other words, you lose your cents.
Yeah.
So if you had, $76.75, you would just get $76. And I turned to her and said, well, that's a great thing for the casino. They should probably put rolls of paper in there that have like 4 tickets, right?
Yeah, right. So they have to keep checking. That is strange. Why would that be?
Yeah. Why? I mean,
can see no reason why that would be.
If it's going to reset itself, why wouldn't it reset itself to the correct amount?
That is strange.
I mean, think how much money they'd make in a year
if they did.
It's like in the Superman movie,
Superman 3
with Richard Pryor,
and Office Space,
yeah,
right?
Right, where he just took the cents out of everyone's paycheck.
That's right. That's
he
right.
just the point 0.08,
less than a cent, right?
Less than a cent, and it was billions of dollars, right?
Maybe that's SLS's plan. Since they're a new casino,
right?
That's
how they're going to get rich.
Is just the cents when they have to replace the paper. Oh, that's silly. Well, while we were at SLS, we did have time to play some craps, and it was kind of refreshing because, a lot of the dealers downtown were not the greatest.
Well, they suck. Okay, let's not beat around the bush
All
here.
right, yeah.
A lot of the dealers downtown, I mean, they're learning. This is one of my big pet peeves. I understand you're learning and it may be your first day dealing craps, but you went to dealer school.
Yeah.
You should be proficient at this. You're dealing with not only the casino's money, but other people's money. You should know the game. And so many of them don't. Oh my God, it's painful.
And
painful.
Yeah. And what made it worse too was when we were downtown, when we were playing at places that had 10 times odds, you were trying to make put bets.
Right. Oh, how many of the dealers didn't know what a put bet was?
I know. I couldn't believe it. A lot of times the boxman had to explain what it was. Now, I mean, granted, most people don't know what put bets are.
Right. But they're not dealers.
They're not dealers. Right. Exactly.
And I had to spell it to that one. Remember? Put bet. What? What? Put, P-U-T, put bet.
I don't think one dealer knew what we were talking about when we were talking about the put bets initially.
No.
And listeners, go back. There is an episode where we talk about put bets too, if you don't know. But
I mean, it's not a common bet.
No, it's not. But dealers should know.
When you're dealing with 10 times odds, everyone should be putting on.
Yeah, I was surprised they didn't know. But when we were at SLS, it was a very sharp crew.
Very good, yeah.
And we had a dealer with us, Troy, who was kind of an old-time dealer. Well, you could tell he'd been dealing the game for years, obviously. He was very fast and knew what he was doing.
His hand movements were excellent.
Yeah, and I actually said, Troy, I want to tell you what a pleasure it is, based on what we've been dealing with downtown. I want to tell you what a pleasure it is to have such a good dealer going here, right?
Right.
And so, he was real appreciative. And then he went on to make a couple of glaring mistakes.
Right. Well, he was going too fast.
He was going
At
so
that
fast.
point, he was showing off.
I think he was showing off. Yeah, and he made some mistakes. But it was nice to at least have somebody know what he was doing. Like when he made a mistake and we called him on it, it was like, oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he got confused, right?
No.
Like some of the dealers we saw.
Oh, yeah. I just, if you're dealing in a casino, I don't care if it's your first day or your 10th year or your 20th year, you have to know what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So by then it was time to head back downtown for the VIMF main event. You refused to attend.
I didn't refuse to attend.
Oh, it was a refusal. I mean,
I had other stuff to do.
Yeah, like make your money back.
Yeah, like
right?
get back to even.
Mike was down quite a bit, so he forewent the VIMF main event.
Well, just, sitting there listening, I thought, I'll just stay at the Golden Nugget and play.
Yeah, you probably would have gone crazy.
I'll listen to the podcast.
Yeah, you just listen to it.
I'm going to listen to the podcast.
So anyway, so Mike went over to Golden Nugget. I headed down to American Coney real quick, got a 5 dog, which is chili dog with a couple of hot dogs in it. I sat there by myself with my drink, my little iPhone. I watched some Game of Thrones on my iPhone with my headphones. And then I headed up to get in line for the main event. So, you missed a great main event. It was so much fun. Oh my gosh. So I went in there and I ended up sitting with Taylor and listener Travis that we mentioned before. And Taylor and Travis bought donuts.
Now, if I had known there were going to be donuts there, I would have attended because I love donuts.
They had 2 boxes of Dunkin' Donuts that they handed out to the table and some of the surrounding tables too, once everything got going. So
where'd they get the Dunkin' Donuts at?
I think it's over at Fremont.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
at Fremont Casino. Yeah. So this was great. Vegas Gang went on first. And then 500, and it was just so fun to see them actually doing the shows. And, you know, Vegas Gang was very businesslike as they usually are, right? But that was fun. And then Dr. Dave came on, and he gave us some interesting facts about the D that a lot of us didn't know. And then 500 came on. Of course, everybody was cheering and yelling back at Tim and Michelle, and so that was a lot of fun. Meanwhile, you're at Golden Nugget. So what happened when you were
I'm
at
at Golden Nugget playing craps.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, I mean, we had some good rolls. I ended up winning there.
Yeah.
But while I was playing, an elderly man was shooting the dice, and had Golden Nugget had a fire bet, he would have won it.
He would have rolled all 6 numbers.
All 6 numbers. He rolled every number once, at least once, except for 9, which he rolled 4 times.
Wow.
So the other 5 once and 4 9s. And the 9s were like back to back. I mean, it was 99, 99, 99.
Yeah.
3 of them were back to back like that.
So if they had had a fire bet at Golden Nugget, you would have hit 6 on the fire bet twice on this trip.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I cleaned up on the roll.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm sitting there counting and I'm like, wait a minute. He made the 9, he made the 8, he made the 4. He hit the fire bet.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Fair. So you played there.
They do have the all tall, all small.
Okay, right.
And I didn't win any on that.
Yeah.
Because he had 7s on the come outs and he kept repeating 9s, you know, stuff like that. Yeah. It just didn't, the way it worked, I didn't win those bets.
Okay. So then now I'm at the main event watching the podcasts. Mm-hmm. You quit playing at the Golden Nugget and come and play at the D.
Came back and played at the D, texted you that I just, you know, didn't win the fire bet because they don't have it.
Right.
And how mad I was. So I came back to the D.
Yep.
And proceeded to lose all the money I just won at the Golden Nugget.
Okay. So
then I was not happy.
You were not happy.
And the podcasts were on. I was texting you. So I just went and sat at a slot machine over by the cashier and waited for you to finish.
So I listened to both podcasts, and then I knew that we were meeting people for dinner down at the Strip. So I couldn't stay for the whole VIMFP main event, but I listened to both podcasts. And then I said goodbye to everybody and headed out, met you downstairs because we had to go down to Caesar's Palace for dinner that we were having with everybody. So we went down to Caesar's Palace and we were playing a little bit, and your family came up and they basically said, you know, we're not hungry. We're not really in the mood
they'd eaten like a late lunch or something because they got up late or anyway, they weren't really ready for dinner.
Yeah.
And so they decided my mom wasn't feeling that well and they thought, oh, we'll just skip dinner. Okay. So it's just going to be you and I. And then our friend Paul and his 2 buddies. Right. So there's going to be 5 of us.
So it's like, okay, well,
of 9 of us.
That's good because you were offering to pay for the dinner.
Yeah.
So that would save you a little money, right?
Right.
5
I was thinking,
instead of 9.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So then we are playing and you got on the phone with Paul, or Paul
he called me.
Yeah.
And they're watching their sports betting.
Yeah.
And they were watching the Notre Dame game against Florida State.
Yeah.
And it turns out our dinner reservations were at 8. And that game wasn't going to end till like 9.
Yeah.
So Paul said, can you switch the dinner to 9?
Yeah.
So we stopped playing craps and we walk over to the Homestead Steakhouse there. And I asked the gal about, you know, could we switch? She said, well, you know, for that many people, we can probably get you at 10:30.
Yeah.
Something like that. And I'm like, 10:30? Yeah. That was a ways off. And then I thought, oh, okay, well, just cancel it then.
Yeah.
So she canceled it. And then Paul calls me back like a half hour later. Okay, well, we'll eat at 8.
But you'd already canceled it.
I'm like, well, I already canceled it.
Hey, and at this point, I'm thinking good. It's canceled. We don't have to go sit through a long dinner, another steak dinner.
Yeah, well, and I was kind of happy about that too, but I was feeling guilty because I was thinking, you know, I promised everyone I'd take him to dinner. Now we're not taking anyone to dinner.
That's okay. Now we have more time.
Well, I told him I'd take him to lunch the next day, which we did do.
So no, that was fine. So one of the things you did on this trip was something I talked about last episode. You converted some of your total reward credits into free play because you had so much there. Why not convert it into free play and try to turn that into cash?
I had to convert $625 of rewards to get $500 of free play. Right.
So you went over to Total Rewards.
Yeah.
And you dealt with somebody, and you were there at the counter a long time.
Oh, the guy was confused, to say the least.
He couldn't figure out what you were doing.
He had no idea. At first he thought, well, I don't see any money on here, any free play. And I'm like, no. I have my reward points. I want to convert to free play.
Yeah.
So finally, I think he kind of knew what I was doing. But once again, it drives me crazy when there's somebody working at a casino in a department and they don't know what's going on. And it's not like it's unusual. I mean, people do this all the time.
Yeah. And he didn't ask for help or anything?
No, he didn't ask supervisor or anything. He just finally muddled through it, gave me the ticket, said, take this to the cashier, which is what is supposed to happen.
Right. You get the slip from Total Rewards, and then you have to walk it over to the cashier to actually get the free play. You walk over to the cashier, and they give you the free play. Well, I get over to the cashier, I hand him the thing, and the guy's like, well, there's nothing in the system. Okay.
I'm like, what? I was just there. I mean, I came right from there.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like he didn't put this in the system. So he said, let me go in the back and call him. Yeah. He was gone a long time.
Yeah, and it's funny. This is funny because I came up to you. You were standing just at the cashier, and I was looking around just waiting for you. And then I came up, and I kind of jokingly said something. I said, oh, what did the guy say when he came back? And you said, oh, well, he hasn't come back. And I very jokingly said, well, of course he's come back. Look how long it's been. Just tell me what he said.
Immediately, the cashier at the next window hears this.
Yeah, she doesn't know I'm joking.
Yeah, she doesn't know he's joking. She finishes her customer, and she goes in the back.
Yeah.
And then the guy comes running out. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. You're in the 7-star lines. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll be back. I'm still on the phone with him. We're trying to get it squared away. He's apologizing like crazy. I'm thinking, well, take your time. I mean, I've already taken my shoes off. I put them back on, retied them. I'm basically falling asleep here at the window.
And then tell them what happened while you're just this guy who came up while you were there.
Oh, yeah. So I'm standing there in line. My window's empty. And the woman, the one who had ran in the back, she finished her customer. And there was another guy who had been standing in line. And she motioned to him to come forward. And he just looked at her. And she said, sir, are you a diamond or 7-star? And he didn't say a word. He just looked at her from about, 6-7 feet away.
But he's in line.
He's in line in the cashier line. And she's motioning for him to come to the window. And he's just standing there looking at her. Then he just turned around and walked away. And he didn't walk like to another window. Like, oh my God, I'm not a 7-star. I'm in the wrong line. He just walked back into the casino area.
He just overloaded.
It was overload, I guess. He was like, it was so weird because he had waited all that time in line and then he just walked away. And she's looking at him like, well, what just went on here? Oh, it was hilarious.
Well, you finally got your free play.
Finally, he got it squared away. It hadn't been entered in the system. I don't know. He got it figured out. I got my free play. Free play on this trip. I converted $1,500. Well, I got $1,500
total. Because you got 500 each day.
500 each day. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I got a total of 1,500. I ended up ahead.
More than 1,500?
More than 1,500. Remember that one I cashed out for quite a bit.
Good.
Right. And then they had given me 1,000 too.
At Caesars, that's right.
At Caesars. So all in all from Caesars, I got 2,500 in free play.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. And it helped a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, what it did is it kept me going until we eventually hit the fire beds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Well, so we finished up at Caesars. We headed over to SLS, checked out the room. Very nice room, but small.
It's the old rooms.
Yeah, it's the old Sahara rooms. Yeah.
When rooms were much smaller, they weren't a priority then.
That's right. So
those were the days when people actually gambled and didn't stay in their room watching a mega-sized TV. The TV in that room was huge.
Yeah. Well, was it, or was it just because the room was so small?
No, it was big. Okay. I mean, it was like a 50-inch, flat screen TV.
Yeah, in a
tiny little room.
That was nice. Yeah.
They had big mirrors in there too to make the room look bigger.
Yeah. So we went down and finally we decided to play some craps. Oh, one thing I don't want to forget too at SLS. Did you notice this? Every time we went to the cashier, there was one window open. And we were there at different times during our trip. At different times during the day, there was only ever one person working.
Only ever one person.
That was strange.
I almost asked once, "Are you the only one working, or how's that work here?"
Yeah. So anyway, we played some craps there, and this was getting close to midnight.
On Saturday night. Which was your birthday eve.
Right. So Sunday was my birthday. So at midnight, it was going to be my birthday.
And Mark, I'm going to have to tell everybody this.
All right,
you sat at that table and proceeded to set a new indoor mark for the most amount of Long Island iced teas that a person can consume in one evening.
Really?
Yes.
I drank that much.
You drank a ton.
I didn't black out.
No, you never blacked out, but you drank a ton. That girl was coming back like every 5 minutes.
Really?
You were not ordering.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, she would just come back. Here's another Long Island iced tea. Okay. She was bringing me Cokes at the same time.
I hope I tipped her.
Because I had asked for a Coke. Oh, you were tipping her fine.
All right.
But she was coming like crazy. And I'm sure had we kept track, it was some kind of new indoor record.
All right. Well, good. I hope I didn't embarrass you while you were there.
You were loud, and I think
that.
everyone was having fun, so I don't think anyone was embarrassed.
Yeah.
The rolls were great at that table.
Now, I had a good roll, right?
You did have one good roll there, yeah. Yeah, you did have a good roll there.
So that was good. And then we met a guy that was just on our side of the table who had the same birthday as
it
mine.
Turns out, because Mark kept saying, it's my birthday, it's almost my birthday, it's my birthday.
Yeah.
And the pit was getting a particular kick out of it.
Were they?
Oh, yeah. There were two boxmen.
Yes,
the two boxmen, Ron, and I can't remember the other guy's name.
Yeah.
And, we were going crazy.
Oh, man,
there was a woman that we kept saying, short stick her.
Really?
You don't remember that?
Not at all.
Oh, she had a really low cut dress.
All right.
We kept saying short stick her, and that Ron guy is like, no, we're all gay. No, we're all gay.
Wow, I don't remember that.
Yeah, you don't remember that.
Okay.
We were laughing. He's like, no, I think we're all gay.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, speaking of people named Ron, our friend Ron, who used to deal here at Harrah's Resort, Southern California,
right,
works at SLS now, and he wasn't working the crap tables, but I walked around.
He had seen us at the
I guess
table.
he had already seen us there. We didn't know.
But he was waiting for his break.
Yeah, I walked around and found him dealing 3-card poker. Nobody was there, but 3-card poker. So it was great to see Ron again, and he would come over during our break and give us a big hug and, root us on hoping we were winning. So that was great to see him again.
It was very nice to see Ron. Yeah, and he seems to be doing well there.
Yeah.
He likes Vegas.
Yeah, good. So. That's great. And then at one point, a dealer brought us some Reese's peanut butter cups.
Right. Well, we were having good rolls.
Okay.
And I was tipping pretty heavily.
Yeah.
And we were talking. You kept saying, you don't remember this, but you kept saying how I got to stop and eat. I got to eat. I got to eat.
Did I say?
And I kept saying, no, we don't need to eat. We'll eat later. We'll eat later. And then he just came by, went on his break, came off his break, came by and gave us each a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Okay. All right. Well, that was good.
And then you put it on the rail and then spilled one of your Long Island iced teas.
Spilled my drink. I do remember that. Yeah. I remember it was a real wet wrapper.
Yeah. And one of the ladies had to come over from housekeeping and clean all the rail off.
I remember that. Yeah. Remember that vividly. Well, that was fun. That was a lot of fun playing there.
Oh, and, it was a blast. And we ended up winning, and we were happy.
Yeah.
Except then we stopped finally to eat.
That's right. Yep.
We said, okay, we're up.
Yep.
And we were up quite a bit.
Yes.
And the rolls were going great. We stopped and we went to their food place called The Griddle.
Yeah.
Which was the only thing open.
Yes.
We had breakfast.
I think I had a burger, didn't I?
Yeah, that's right. You had burger and I had breakfast. I had eggs and hamburger.
Yeah. And then afterwards we said, well, let's not go to bed. Let's go back to the table, right?
Yeah. And then it all turned around.
Yeah,
and we went back to the same table, same dealers, everything. And it was not good. So we gave about half our money back.
Yeah.
There. It was not good.
All right. And then we called it a night.
Yeah. And then it was time to go to bed.
All right. So the next morning we wake up. You're very unhappy.
I was not happy because we were ahead and then we gave some of it back and, we just weren't getting anywhere. I was down. I still had money to play. I had plenty of money actually to play.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be even. I did not want to lose for this trip.
Yeah. So Mike's he's not really impressing upon you how bummed he was at this point. Okay. He was miserable. It wasn't just that he was a little upset. He was really down.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to lose.
And it was our last day, and so he didn't know what he was going to do. He's pulling his hair out.
Yeah, I was like, oh, maybe I just won't play. Maybe I'll just go home with my tail between my legs.
Yeah.
And, I can't do that. I got to play. But I didn't want, I didn't want to go home broke either. I didn't want to lose, the rest of my money.
Well, we played craps a little bit more at SLS because your family came over and we played with them.
Yeah, they wanted to see SLS, and so we met them.
And that was actually good.
The rolls went well.
You hit like an all small a couple of times,
Two times, and twice I think we were one away from hitting it all.
Yeah, and your family was on it too, so that went well.
Yeah, the rolls were good. My brother had a good roll, and I had a good roll.
Yep. And then we headed down to Caesars because we were going to meet Paul and his friends for lunch at the Gordon Ramsay Pub and Grill.
Right, and we met them about 12:30.
Yep.
So we wanted to eat lunch just before the Charger game started at 1.
Yeah. So, we sat there and watched football and had a meal. What did you have?
I had the fish and chips. It was excellent.
It was good?
Yeah, very good. Very good.
I had a cheeseburger, that was excellent. I thought it was really good, juicy and everything, but I'll warn people, I ordered it medium. And it was really pink in the middle. I mean, really pink.
Right. Well, some places will tell you that medium means really pink.
Yeah. So if you keep that in mind, if you go there and it was fine with me. I don't mind a kind of like a medium rare burger. That's fine. But, if you want yours, know.
Well, the fish and chips was excellent. And my wife has had the shepherd's pie there. She says that's excellent too.
Yeah.
Those were our choices. That's what I was going to get.
So that was good. That was a good lunch. It was good to talk to those guys.
They had a big parlay ticket on football, so they were curious about that. They needed Buffalo to win. Turns out Buffalo won with like 2 seconds left in the game.
Right, yeah.
So
that was a good meal. All right. Now it's time to talk.
Well, as usual.
Yeah.
We couldn't wait to get out of the restaurant.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, these guys are watching football and talking. I'm like, let's get the hell out of here. I mean, I'm done eating. Yep. So we left. They were still sitting there and we left.
That's right. We left, yeah.
And they were still going to have some drinks or whatever. I said, here, I'm paying for everything. Order what you want now. And then I paid and we left. Yeah. And we headed right over to the Caesars.
The main casino,
craps area.
Yep. So we walked around to kind of find an open table. And we walked by one table that said reserved.
One half of it was reserved.
Yeah, see, you didn't notice that. I just saw reserved on one half and just assumed the whole table was reserved. But yeah, it was only one half of the table that was reserved.
And the box or the stick man on that table was a guy we had played with the night before.
Right. So and the other side of the table, the non-reserved side, was $15.
Was $15,
which is pretty low for Caesars. Sometimes you can find some $10 tables, but
15 is fine.
Yeah.
So, and we went there specifically because we saw that guy and he kind of motioned us over.
Yeah, Nick, I think
was his name. And he said, yeah, hey guys, come on over.
Right, because the table was empty.
Right, the table was empty and he asked about a guy named Roger who he had played with the night before.
Yep.
And if you want to hear the whole Roger story, listen to the bonus material.
Yep,
it's well worth it hearing about Roger.
Just a short story, but you can hear about Roger.
Yeah, hear about Roger because it was quite funny.
Yeah. So it was just the two of us. And we were playing there for a little while, just trading off rolls. So I got the dice. And as usual, we each made a $10 fire bet.
Right.
Right. And I started to roll. Again, it was just the two of us at the table initially. So I started rolling and rolling. And while I'm rolling, a couple of young women came up to the table.
Oh, yeah, like 22-year-olds.
Yeah,
21 or 22-year-olds.
They started playing. They obviously didn't know what they were doing.
They had no idea about craps.
The dealers were kind of trying to help them.
Right.
So I'm continuing to roll. And at one point, I'd made a few points. And you said to me, oh, you're doing pretty good. See if you can hit the fire.
Right.
And I said, well, Mike, I've already rolled 4 of the numbers.
Yeah. He had already won the fire bet with 4. Yeah. I didn't even realize it because I was down and I was focusing on, he was having a good roll.
Yeah.
And I was up a couple thousand and I was focusing on the fact that I'm up a couple thousand and I'm thinking, make some more 6s and 8s. I had them all pumped up.
Right. So I had already rolled the 6, 8, 9, and 10. So all was left was 4 and 5. So, we're excited, but we've hit 4 numbers before,
Plenty
that's
of times, yeah.
Well, I came out on a 4 right away. Yeah. It's like, okay, good. See if you can make that 4.
And I'm thinking, make this 4 because that's an extra, it's $10. It's an extra $2,500.
Yeah, right. That's right. It pays $250 for one, right? So, yeah. So very quickly, I rolled the 4 again.
Like 2 rolls later. Hard, I think. I think
you're right.
You had rolled, it's funny, just a sidelight, you rolled all the hard ways once and never repeated any of them.
So you didn't win any of your parlays?
No, I had them all like up to $100.
Yeah.
And then you never repeated any of them.
Yeah.
You just kept rolling numbers.
So I needed to come out on a 5 to at least, keep the fire bet going. So I rolled the dice. I came out on an 8.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, okay,
The dealer made some comment like, oh, 8. And you said, that's okay. I'll make an 8.
Yep. And it was either the next roll or the one after that.
2 or 3 rolls later,
8.
I think. Yeah,
right,
you made
8.
an 8.
It's like, good.
It was almost immediate.
Yeah. Okay, we're okay. So I got the dice again. Boom, came out on a 5.
4 and a 1. It came out 4-1.
So now it's like, holy cow, we're up on the 6th number.
Yeah, and we're yelling pretty loud at this point because we're on the 6th number.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, come on, Mark, please make the 5. Yeah. Please make a 5.
Yeah. And this is only the second time ever that we've actually been up on that 6th number.
And it's been a 5 both
It was
times.
the 5 the last time, right?
Yeah.
The woman was rolling. She didn't, right? So
I immediately laid against the 5.
yeah, so here's this. We talked about this on a previous podcast too, right? Right now we're guaranteed $2,500 each, right? Because we've already made 5 numbers.
Right.
So we're going to get $2,500. All right. So Mike laid $1,500 against the 5.
Right.
So if a 7 were to come up, you'd win $1,000 on that lay bet.
Right.
Plus the $2,500 for a total of $3,500.
Right.
Right. And if I make the 5, well, you lose the lay bet, $1,500.
But you get 10,000.
But you get 10,000, right? So you did that. And
Mark did not.
No, and of course you didn't take odds because that wouldn't have made any sense for you to take odds on the 5. You're just contradicting yourself. But no, I didn't make any kind of lay bet. I took odds on my 5. And then I started to roll. And I wasn't too nervous, but every roll, we'd look at that first die and be like, oh, it's a 1. Oh, 2.
Yeah. There were several rolls where the first one was a 1.
I know.
And then the next one was like, a 4, a 3 or a 2.
Right.
Or
but then
something.
then it'd be like a 6 would come up. It's like, oh, please don't 7 out. No, you wouldn't. Yeah. It didn't take very long. 4-1.
4-1 repeated.
Boom. 5. Hit the fire bet.
Oh, we were screaming. My throat was still sore on Tuesday morning.
Yep.
From yelling a Sunday morning.
Unbelievable. Made the fire bet. And we're screaming. And meanwhile, the 2 young women had come over. They weren't there in time to make a fire bet. No. And I think a third player came too.
They were asking they still didn't, I don't ever think they really figured out what happened.
Well, when you're trying to explain craps at all, and then you try to explain the fire bet.
I don't think they ever understood. Now she's like, what? Now, how many did you make? What? She's like,
well, it's so funny because we hit the fire bet, but of course I'm still rolling.
Right. And you did roll for, you made 4 or 5 other numbers.
I came out on an 8 and made another 8. Right.
Yeah.
Before I finally 7'd out.
But then you made a few other numbers in between, like a couple 6s and 9s.
Yeah. So here's the thing that makes this so amazing. There's several things. Number 1, we're playing at a casino where the maximum on the fire bet is $10.
Right, because usually at Rincon it's $5.
Yeah, we play here at Harrah's Resort, Southern California. 5 is the most. Right. And we play there all the time.
Right.
And here we are in Vegas where we aren't as much. So we're winning 10,000 instead of 5,000. That's number 1. Number 2, it was my birthday.
It was on his birthday and he was rolling.
I was rolling. Yeah. I rolled it.
Right.
And then this didn't even occur to me till after we did it. But Mike, this happened on the same table where we rolled all those 4s years ago and got our buy bet up to $5,000. Longtime listeners will remember this incredible roll we had where we weren't rolling, but the guy rolled 9 4s before 7ing out. Go back to episode 10 if you haven't heard it. It was the exact same table.
And almost standing in the exact same spots.
Yeah, we were at the same side of the table, but we were standing at different positions.
But we were at, our positions on the table were the same positions we were in.
Just the opposite. You were in mine and I was in yours.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. This table, it's the closest one. It's the closest craps table to the cashier. Right. If you're at the cashier and you're looking at the craps area, it's the one on the left. The closest one that's one on the left.
Closest one on the left, right.
The same exact table. Oh
and then,
my gosh.
If that wasn't enough of a coincidence, the box person,
Colleen,
who paid us and was chatting with us the whole time, during the roll, before we hit the fire, she somehow mentioned that, oh yeah, I used to live in Escondido, which is right outside San Diego on the way to Rincon.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, you did? Okay, we're talking. And she's talking about places. She says, yeah, I worked at that time it was called Rincon.
Yeah.
I worked at Rincon. And I was like, oh, because the night before when we played with her, she was on the table with Roger, the infamous Roger.
Yeah.
I kept looking at her thinking, where do I know this woman from? And I'm thinking, well, I must know her from here, right? We're here at Caesars a lot, so I must know her from here. Well, no, she used to work at Rincon.
Yeah.
And then she's talking to us. She knew all the dealers and all the
we had so many people that we knew in common. Yeah.
And she's talking to us. And then Mark hits Firebet, and she's the person who pays us.
Yeah.
She's the one who filled out the paperwork, signed the paperwork.
Yeah. Unbelievable. All right. Barry, over at the Facebook Craps page, listed some questions that he wanted us to answer. And there are things I would want to know too if somebody's hit the Firebet. So let's go through Barry's questions. He wanted to know what were the total passes made? So I don't know about passes. I don't know if I rolled 7 on the come out roll.
Yeah,
But as
you
far
did
as,
a few times.
As far as points go, I made 8 points total. I made all the numbers plus the 8 2 more times. Right. So 8 points total. How long in time was the roll? Not very long.
Maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah, because it was just you and me and then those 2 women that came up.
Yeah.
Right. It was not a full
And
table.
when it was just you and I, it was like they paid us so quick. It was like he'd roll say a 6 or something, and they was boom, pay us, and then roll.
Yeah, and
Mark was picking them up and throwing them fast.
Right, and the 2 women, they didn't really have a bunch of bets that had.
I think they just had pass line and maybe a 6 or an 8.
Yeah. So, okay, Barry's question: how many others bet it? Nobody. Again,
just Mark and I.
We were the only ones there when I started my roll.
Yeah.
Did they just give you 2 $5,000 chips? I bet it was 10 yellow instead, since they tend to be very protective of high denomination chips. Well, let me back up. I missed one of the questions here. You put down, how long did it take to get the tax form? It was about 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was about 20 minutes from the end of the roll.
And here's what they did as far as the chips go. We had to fill out W-2G tax forms, right?
Yeah.
They immediately withheld $2,500.
From each of us.
Yep.
Yeah, $2,500.
I'd always wondered about that.
So that leaves you $7,500.
So we only got paid. We had to fill out the W-2G. We can deal with that on our taxes. Mm-hmm. But they only gave us $7,500. So they did give us they gave us one $5,000 chip.
Right.
$2,000 chips and a $500 chip.
Right. Which was good. That was a good way to pay it out. I thought too they were going to give us like 7 $1,000 chips.
Yeah. And that we'd have to fill out the form and then we'd have to deal with the taxes. But no, they withheld it right there. Thanks.
Yeah.
He says, anything of interest occur while cashing out? No, not really. Again, it took about 20 minutes.
Yeah. We got our money. We went to the cashier.
Had to show ID, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
He says, even in hundreds, $10,000 is a hefty wad. Were you able to stuff it in your pockets? Well, we just had the cashier cut us checks because we'd done that before with the 4s. It was towards the end of our trip, so we really didn't, we didn't need the money to play with. So we just had them cut us checks. And
it's just easier that way.
It's easier
and we had money.
I
had won several thousand on the roll.
Yeah, right.
And I had several thousand left in my pocket. So it was like, why do I need more money?
Right. Yeah. Right? On a long roll like that, you each probably made a significant amount even without the fire. I didn't.
No,
it went so fast. Really, I did roll some numbers, but I wasn't on a lot of numbers.
Well, you won for the roll.
Oh, I absolutely won for the roll, but it was really just rolling those points.
Right.
I was kind of playing cautious because it was our last day. I didn't want to lose a ton on that.
Right.
Last
well,
day.
That's it too. I was a little cautious to start.
Right. So
then when the roll got good, I increased my bets big time.
But I basically just had a pass line.
It was funny after we'd hit the fire bet and you were still making numbers.
Yeah.
And I had like a $300 8 and it hit. And I went to like 450.
Yeah.
And the dealer's like, what? Just press it all the way.
I know, really. You're already
just won 10,000. I'm like, well, I want to collect some, right?
That's right.
Press it all the way. If it doesn't come again, I mean, I want to. What am I going to? I'm going to take my 350 winnings and leave 300 of it out there.
It's true. Now's the time to go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I was still playing the same way.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean,
I looked at him and I said, why change the way I'm playing? I'm here to win more money. If he hits it again, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
I'll go to 6. We got paid our $7,500. We gave the dealers $500 each.
Yes. Yeah. So we tipped them $500.
So we tipped them $500.
We figured, that's 5%.
That's 5%. Right? So we took $7,000 for ourselves, gave them $500. And afterwards I was telling Mark, like an idiot, why didn't we just put $5 on the fire bet for them?
I know, tip them on the, which we do 5. That at Harrah's all the time.
We do it at Harrah's all the time. God. We just didn't do it there.
I know.
Had we done that, see, their 5 would have won 5,000. Yeah. Then we wouldn't have had to tip them,
We wouldn't have had to tip them.
So I would have just basically have tipped them $5 instead of the 500.
All right, back to Barry's questions. Nervous walking out there with all in hand. So again, we got a check, so we were nervous. But even so, it kind of probably helped that it was Caesars.
Right.
Because, a lot of money's being tossed around there anyway. If it had been, a smaller casino or something like that, I might have been a little
Well, and another thing, I don't even know. We were screaming. A lot of people probably didn't even know what happened. For all they know, we could have just made 1 point.
That's true, yeah.
Right.
Somebody would have had to been watching us pretty closely.
Yeah.
Barry says, if you itemize deductions on your taxes, you can offset losses, but is $10,000 the only reportable income? too much.
No,
you can deduct however much you lose. You need to have a pretty good record of it, of your losses.
You need just your own personal log.
Yeah, if you have just a log that you keep track of, can't be like a Excel spreadsheet. It has to be, like a handwritten log that you keep track of. But no, you could deduct the whole thing if you have, the evidence to back it up. Yeah. And then he says, "How did you celebrate?" Well, when we went to the airport, you bought some Pringles for us.
I brought some Pringles and a soda for each of us.
That was good.
Yeah, and that's how we celebrated.
Yeah, thank you for that, by the way.
We sat there at the airport and whispered about how much, money we had in our pocket. Not that the check would do anyone any good.
No, that's right. But
we still whispered.
That's all we did to celebrate. We really didn't do anything else. It was towards the end of the trip.
Yeah.
We were going home. We were both exhausted.
We were exhausted. I think we're too tired to celebrate.
Yeah.
I mean, inside I was whooping it up.
Yeah. All right. So let's finish up the story of the trip here. Again, this happened right towards the end. Well, now at this point, we only have a few hours left in Vegas. And so we're thinking, gosh, it'd be nice to get on an earlier flight because our flight was scheduled to leave at 9:30 and we saw online that it was delayed till like 10 o'clock. It's like, let's see if we can get on an earlier flight. So I called and they wanted to charge us like over $200 to make the change. Yeah. And I had said, well, wait a second, Southwest, in the past when your flight's been delayed, you don't charge for a change like that. And the woman told me the delay has to be more than an hour. So if it had been more than an hour delay, we could have switched for free.
What she didn't tell you is that she was annoyed that you even bothered to call, and she was going to screw you in your seat assignment. And
yeah, we'll get to that. This will be the punchline to the story at the end. But I have to include. We looked into changing our flight. I finally said to her, "Oh no, that's okay, thank you." We stayed with our original flight.
She hung up the phone and said "a-hole," and then
proceeded to screw us. Yeah, But here's what we did towards the end. We headed over to Harrah's real quick because your dad had talked about how they
upgraded
and everything.
Yeah.
And where the coffee shop used to be is now the new Fulton Street food court. I thought it was very nice.
It's excellent.
Yeah, the way it's laid out. Yeah. It's got a bunch of different stations where you can buy different kinds of food.
Right.
It's not a buffet. It's not like a cafeteria, but there are different
places. It's kind of like a food court with different places to buy different kinds of food.
Yeah, right. Not like
there's
a fast
dessert
food
area.
Right. So we looked that over and then we said, well, let's go ahead and play here since we're here. We kind of had a bad experience at Harrah's the last time. But we were there. We didn't have too much time left on our trip.
Our experience last time basically centered around poor dealers.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And once again, we had poor dealers.
Yeah, and we would have, your foot was killing you. So we decided, let's just play here. Yeah, it was miserable.
We were going to walk further down to Cromwell, but my leg was hurting so bad in my foot. I said, let's just stay here so we can cross back to Caesars where we had our bags and stuff.
Yeah.
God, it was terrible again.
The dealers were bad. Even the clientele was annoying.
Yeah. So, there was a guy who was, oh my God, every roll, he had $100 horn high yo and $100 hopping all the hard ways.
Oh yeah. He was so aggressive and he never had any chips in front of him.
No. And he would win and he'd get like, $500 or something. And then I'd look up a second later and he was out of chips again. I was like, what the hell?
So we just said, let's get out of here.
And the dealers were having a hard time dealing to him.
Oh, it was terrible. It was, so let's never go back.
Yeah. I'm going to swear it off.
Yeah.
Really.
So we cashed out. We did walk down to the Cromwell. The Cromwell, just like last time.
Excellent customer service.
Fantastic customer service. From the dealers to the cashier, the host came around and introduced.
I bought in, and before I could get a bet on the table, there was a host there wanting to introduce herself.
Yep. Even to me, I'm only Diamond, right? She came over to me. We were only there a little while because it was getting late. We lost.
Right.
But it's just the only thing I would say about Cromwell is I wish the dealers had name tags.
Right. Right. They don't have name tags.
They always introduce themselves.
Right. And I told that one dealer, I said, next time we're coming here to Cromwell, I'm going to wear a name tag. I'm going to get one that says Mike.
All right. So let's wrap it up here. So we finished up there, went back to Caesars, got our bags, put in the rental car. We returned the rental car. And now here, this is really the highlight of the trip.
Yeah, this is the highlight.
You think the fire bet was the highlight of the trip.
The fire bet was fun.
It was nice.
Yeah, and we may never do it again in our lives.
Yeah, but it was nice. So we go to return the rental car, and we stop to fill it up with gas, before we drop it off. And we stop at a Shell station.
Mark's, there was another station closer.
Yeah.
But the gas was kind of expensive, and Mark said, there's a Shell half a block up. Go to that Shell.
Yeah.
We went to the Shell.
Yep.
The gas was cheaper.
Yeah.
And then Mark realized the highlight of the trip, he could use his fuel rewards card.
Yep.
Finally.
Longtime listeners will know that Total Rewards Caesars, they have a deal with fuel rewards where when you play at the casino, you earn these fuel rewards that you can get to use at Shell stations. And the joke on us is that none of the San Diego area Shell stations take the fuel rewards cards. right?
So it's virtually useless to us unless we leave San Diego County.
Right. So I had the fuel. I always keep the card with me just in case.
The funny thing is there's a Shell station at Harrah's Southern California Resort, Rincon.
Yeah.
Right in the parking lot.
Yeah, and you can't use it.
But we can't use the fuel reward there.
But we're turning the rental car. I put the card in. 80 cents off per gallon. 80 cents off per gallon. We fill it up.
I turned to Mark. You are on fire. He was so hot.
What a birthday. So we filled up the tank. We took the rental car back, took the shuttle back to the airport. So we get to the airport. Now, the night before, exactly 24 hours before, I had checked in for our flight.
Now, this was with a lot of alcohol in you.
Not yet at this point, because this was 9:30.
Yeah, I think you still had a few in you.
A few, but still, I didn't dream this, all right?
No, you did check in.
I checked in, and we got into Group A. We were on Southwest Airlines, which is not assigned seating. Okay. Instead, it's separated into groups. Group A,
B, C.
Group A boards first, and then Group C, et cetera. Or Group B, then Group C. So we were in Group A. So we're at the airport. We're printing out our boarding passes. And it comes out Group C.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Well, what happened was when you called, I'm sure what happened, she tried to accommodate you by looking for
an
other
earlier
flights.
Flight. Yep.
And she probably voided out all the stuff. So as far as they were concerned, we were checking in right then at the airport.
Yeah,
right?
But we hadn't checked in
because
before.
After us, there were like 3 people.
Yeah, I know.
Right. We were in Group C, and after us, there were like 3
There's
people.
really no other way to explain it. That must have been it. So we were in Group C.
His birthday reward from Southwest Airlines was to sit at the very back of the plane in the last row that doesn't lean back, and the seat in front of you is so close that you'll swear it's actually penetrated your skin and the seat is part of you.
They were the only 2 seats next to each other left on the plane, the very back row.
Right.
We're a big couple of guys. If anybody's ever sat in that back row.
And there's another guy sitting on the aisle because, he's on the aisle. He wants to at least spread his legs a little. And Mark had to sit side saddle in his seat.
Yeah, I
so
did.
He would fit.
I was side saddled the whole trip back. Yep. So that's the trip. But it was a great trip.
Oh,
and I'll tell you, it was so great meeting everybody. And I'll tell you, if I missed anybody on social media, it was kind of a frenzy there during VIMF. Mm-hmm. If I did not respond to you on social media, I want to apologize right now. Write me back again, and I'll definitely respond. But it was just so great to see everybody. We had such a good time. Absolutely one of the best trips ever, with or without the fire bet. That was just the icing on the cake.
For me, I think the fire bet did it.
All right. So that's what,
you know what we need to do now. One last thing. We need to reset our fire bet calculating.
Okay.
Where you scientifically go through and predict when we will hit it again.
Okay. Yes.
We need to reset that. So on a next episode, maybe you'll have that number for me.
So I'll give you an over-under date on the next time we hit it.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Although based on this last trip, should have been 2 in a row or 2 on the same trip, like a couple of days apart. All right. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for listening to this whole thing. I think we set a record for our longest episode. Hey, be sure to download our app for your mobile device. You'll get access to all our episodes, quick links to contact us via Twitter, Facebook, email, and our voicemail hotline. And you'll get bonus audio. On the bonus audio for this episode, like we said, we talk about our good friend Roger that we met at the craps table.
He was quite a guy.
With our app, you'll also get TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. I update those listings every Wednesday using a program I wrote myself to search through all the raw American TV data. The bonus audio and the TV listings are only available on our app. To download it, go to our webpage, youcanbetonthat.com, and on the left-hand side of the page, click on the link that says how to download our app. We have a link for Android devices and another one for iPhones and iPads. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 951-2-WAGERS.
951 and two wagers.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. Also, follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat. We always tweet when we're in a casino or on our way to a casino, and we'd love to meet up with you. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. And finally, head on over to iTunes and write a review for us. When you do, it helps us get new listeners. All right, Mike, final thoughts.
All right, I got one thing to say.
Okay.
And I know nobody can see this, but right now I'm running around Mark's living room. My hands up, I won the fire! I'm a fire bell winner! I did it! I hit them all!
Thanks for listening,
Good
everybody.
night!